Chapman Creek has always been important to the people of the Sunshine Coast, with beautiful waterfalls, hiking trails, and a source for fresh, clean drinking water. It is also home to many species of returning salmon that were born in this very creek. The Chapman Creek Hatchery has played a vital role in the increasing numbers of returning coho. We have been operating on the creek for over 21 years. In that time, the number of returning coho has gone from 40 fish in the early 90s to thousands of fish returning now.
The hatchery was built in 1984 by Royal Pacific Sea Farms for supplementing salmon smolts for the salmon farming industry. In 1990, it went bankrupt. The local streams at that time were also starting to run out of salmon, so the Salmon Enhancement Society was looking for a place to raise more salmon for the Sunshine Coast. This place was available, and we were able to work a deal with Scanmar, who was the owner of the facility at that time, and the community was able to help us purchase this facility for $150,000 in 1992. Now, well, why is there a need for a hatchery on the Sunshine Coast to raise salmon? Chapman Creek is the water supply for the Sunshine Coast. 1/3 of Gibson's gets its water from Chapman Creek, and the pipeline runs all the way up as far as Secret Cove. So it services almost 2/3 of the entire coast. As more and more people come into the Sunshine Coast to live and recreate, it creates more of a demand on the water supply. So in the summertime, if we don't have a very large snowpack, Chapman Creek goes almost dry. That means that it can't sustain runs of steelhead, cutthroat trout, or coho salmon. And so the Salmon Enhancement Society raises about 800,000 of those species per year to release back into the creek, also Half Moon Bay Creek and into Porpoise Bay. That provides a lot of recreational fishermen. 5 months a year, people can actually stand on the beach and catch salmon that are coming back. It also provides food fish for the native bands and commercial fish for the commercial fishermen. In addition to that, it is very necessary for the ecosystem to have salmon running up the rivers and streams, as the carcasses from the dead salmon nourish animals, as we've seen here: coyotes, bobcats, bears, otters, mink, and also eagles in the wintertime when it's difficult for them to get feed. They can pull salmon out of the creek now. Pacific salmon go to sea in the spring as smolts, and they return in the fall as adults. So we start seeing returns into the river from September to November. And they start coming into the area as early as April. So coho salmon, for instance, can be caught in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, which provides a lot of recreational fishing. The pink salmon start returning about July and August. And again, they spawn late August and September. Right after they finish spawning, the chum salmon come in. And the Chinook come in to the creek the first good rains in September and October.
To make sure the salmon numbers in the creek are maintained, the hatchery needs to collect eggs and sperm from returning salmon so we can raise the next generation to be released in the spring. To make this easy, we constructed a diversion channel. The spawning salmon swim up the channel and into the fish trap. From there, they are moved into the holding tanks. Eggs are collected from the females and fertilized with sperm from the males. The newly fertilized eggs are brought into the incubation room where they will develop over the next 6 to 7 months. After 4 to 5 months in incubation, the developing eggs hatch and are now called alevin. They have a large yolk sac which will feed them over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Coho are kept at the hatchery for 1.5 years, and Chinook are kept at the hatchery for 6 months, where they will grow larger and be released as smolts.
These are pink salmon here. They were spawned in September 23rd. It's March 20th right now, so gives you an idea on how long it takes for them to hatch. You can see here that their yolk sac is totally dissolved, so they're ready to go to the ocean.
These newly released pink salmon will take shelter under the rocks from predators until nightfall. Then they will swim down the creek to the open ocean.
Well, I'm the hatchery manager, and that's a paid position. I also have a technician, and that is also a paid position. There's 18 other people that work 3 to 4 hours, 1 day a week, and we can have as many as 30 volunteers if there's any special projects going. We have a board of directors, and they run the business of the society, and without them or the volunteers, we could not afford to run this place. Well, the Department of Fisheries and Oceans gives us $12,500 a year to operate the facility. The cost of operating the facility is about $160,000 a year. So we spend more time raising money than we do raising fish. The Sunshine Coast community has been very generous. We have a salmon dinner and auction. We have over 156 items a year to auction off. We also have a membership drive, and we have about 150 members now, and we'd like to see about 500. We sell rainbow trout. That helps pay for our salmon feed. We make about $7,000 to $8,000 a year on rainbow trout. We also have a can and bottle drive. Last year we took in about $2,500 in empty cans and bottles. We have donation cans at several of the stores around the Sunshine Coast. And we have events like the Catch a Trout Day. Usually it's the first weekend of July every year. And all of those combine to add up to the funding that it takes to run the hatchery. When someone takes a look off the Chapman Creek Bridge in the fall and sees all these fish coming back, they know that it's a very good investment in the future.